And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, me and JB got a good episode for you guys. A little bit of basketball and a little bit of football. Me and JB, NBA's crunching down to NBA's crunching down to the wire here, my friend. So me and JB are going to be discussing the Indiana Pacers versus Celtics series, predicting it, doing the same for the Timberwolves and Mavericks, talk about the NBA playoffs, and then me and JB are going to talk about the NFL schedule release, talk about the entire league, and predict the Packers and Steelers records and talk about their schedule. So, that's what we guys got for you. JB, cut to the intro.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take.
And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, me and JB are going to start out with NBA basketball. JB, oh, we'll each be eating crow here because I'll eat crow first. We're going to stay out west, JB, where the Denver Nuggets blew a 3-2 series lead, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have now defeated the Nuggets in a 7-game series in 7 games and have advanced to play the Dallas Mavericks, who defeated the Thunder. JB, what's your thoughts, my friend? Who do you got in this Western Conference Finals and proceeding to the finals, and in how many games?
Well, the Thunder choked that whole entire series. They honestly, to me, they should have won that series. But in a way, I was kind of rooting for the Mavericks. But for the Thunder, yeah, they basically should have won that whole entire series, and they choked it very hardly. But the one that I am so happy for is the Timberwolves. Yes, even though the last game, Game 7, did not look good for the Timberwolves. I thought it was going to be the Nuggets. But it went straight down to the wire. And honestly, both teams really didn't play that well. I mean, other than Jaden McDaniels and Karl Anthony Towns really showed up. I mean, honestly, Jaden McDaniels, he's been on one. He's been lighting everything up. It's like, honestly, he's probably been most consistent through this whole entire playoffs right now, and for what I'm looking at. I mean, he's shooting fantastic. His defense is phenomenal. Last game, he had 2 steals and 1 block. So, I mean, he's everywhere with 6 rebounds total. And he's shooting, last game, he shoots 70 and 75%. So, 70% on the floor is 75% from threes. So, I mean, that's really, really good. But, and also with Karl Anthony Towns, he did get a double-double with 23 points and 12 assists, or 12 rebounds, with 2 steals and 1 block as well. And Rudy Gobert about had a double-double as well. He had 13 points and 9 assists. But the one person that, for me, that kind of almost ruined it, I've been going with him ever since. It was Anthony Edwards. He shot horrible. He went 6 for 24, 2 for 10 for 3, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, but only 1 turnover. So, but
He
all,
did make a lot of big plays. He made a lot of big plays down the stretch.
He did. When it came to crunch time, he pulled up when he needed to, and for what the team needs. But he has to make those shots. And also, Mike Conley also did horrible. He went 3 for 10, but 3 for 5 at 3. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. But I mean, that is Timberwolves team. Like I said, they're really, really tough to beat. Even though it went to Game 7 to the defending champions. Basically, the only 2 people who were actually doing good on that team on Game 7 was Murray and Jokic. Everyone else, literally like single digit points. Michael Porter Jr., 3 for 12. He shot the bag. Aaron Gordon, 2 for 5. He shot the bag. Caldwell Pope, 2 for 7. He shot the bag. Justin Holiday, he was only there for 9 minutes. He didn't even shoot. Christian Braum, he went 1 for 3. He shot the bag for 19 minutes. And Reggie Jackson, he played for 5.5 minutes. He missed 1 shot. He went 0 for 1. So literally, everyone else literally shot the bag, even though Jamal Murray kind of had a horrible, and so did Jokic. Also had a horrible, actually kind of really both of them shot horrible from the field. But they did get 34 and 35 points. And Jokic did get a double-double. He had 19 rebounds, 7 assists, no steals, only 1 block. Yeah, it was turnover. To me, it was turnover city for them. They had 10 turnovers, and Timberwolves only had 7. So yeah, I feel like the starters, the 3 that really, or the one person really needed to show up that game was Michael Porter Jr., and he did nothing. So, but the defending champions are out. Minnesota Timberwolves is here to stay.
Yes, sir.
And that is what I like to see.
So, JB, all that being said, my friend, who do you got in the Western Conference Finals moving on to the NBA Finals? The Minnesota Timberwolves or the Dallas Mavericks?
Oh, Timberwolves.
Now, you seem so sure. How many games? That was
6.
a quick response by you.
6.
Okay. Timberwolves in 6. Okay.
Timberwolves in 6.
I picked Denver in 7. And this is the series I talked about eating crow earlier. We're both going to be eating crow today. This is the series I am eating crow in. Because I had Denver in 7. I almost nailed it on the head. I said Minnesota last week in the podcast would come out in Game 6 and would respond. And boy, did they respond, because they beat the defending champions by 40. Not by 5, not by 1, not by 10, not by 20. 40. In a closeout game by the league MVP against the league MVP and the defending champions. I didn't see that coming. But then in Game 7, Denver has a 20-something, I think it was about 20-point second half lead. At home. Game 7. League MVP. Defending champs. And they blew it. I think you nailed it, that neither team played good really the other night. Minnesota, if you go down by 20, you're playing horrible basketball, obviously. I mean, I don't think we need to speak the obvious, but then you blow a 20-point lead. Thing with the NBA this year, JB, let's look. Mavericks are the 5 seed, and the Timberwolves are the 3 seed. Even going out east, which we'll get there later, but the Pacers are the 6 seed. The only 1 or even 2 seed in the Final Four this year, if you want to call it that, is the Celtics. And that's in a injury-riddled Eastern Conference, which I'll get to that in a little bit. So, my point is, this is a sports fact of the day. Go check it out on Facebook. Link will be in the description down below. That this will be the 6th season. There will be a different NBA champion. I've said it before. There's a lot of parity. There's a lot of parity in the league right now. And I'm excited for this matchup. You got a lot of teams in there right now who haven't been good in a long time. When was the last time Minnesota been good? Well, they've never won a championship. How about Dallas? Yeah, playoffs, but the last time they won a title was LeBron's first year in Miami when we choked it away. We were still in school, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look. The Pacers. They've never won a championship. Then the Celtics. Yeah, they have won some of the most ever, but it's been since 2008 since they've raised the Larry O'Brien.
Yep.
So all 4 of these teams, my friend, it's been a long time. So the NBA starting to flip. You got a lot of young guys. Luka, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's and he's really improved on defense. This is a really interesting series, and I say that because this is only the second postseason. I have my notes right here. The second postseason meeting between these two teams, and that was in 2002. Like I said, a long time ago. Doncic versus Anthony Edwards all time. They are 5-5. 5-5. The Timberwolves finished the season 3-1 versus Dallas in the regular season. Doncic did miss 2 of those games. Kyrie missed 3 of those. So talk that up what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the kicker. Both of these teams are playing elite defense. Dallas is 6th in defensive postseason ratings. Minnesota's 4th. Defense wins championships. And Luka, for his credit, he was kind of lazy with defense last year and in the past. He didn't play it. We've been hard on him in the past, even before this podcast, for not playing defense. He's playing defense now.
Mm-hmm.
Is he ever going to win? Is he going to win Defensive Player of the Year? No, he's never going to be that. But what I'm seeing, effort, and he's actually hustling. He was sort of lazy when it came to defense in the past, and that's good to see. Kyrie's playing outstanding basketball. I mean, he is the perfect, and he actually admitted this, that he didn't handle the LeBron situation necessarily the way he should have. He's matured since then. Because ego's getting to play, you want to be the main guy. Kyrie is a champion. He's going to be a champion, but why? He is a perfect Robin, not Batman. He cannot be the number one option in your team and lead you to a title. He's proven it. So they're playing outstanding basketball. Minnesota, they are something else. Anthony Edwards struggled until late in the game where he was making this crunch time. I mean, you gave the stats yourself. He struggled. You had Rudy Gobert making fadeaway shots, making plays. Anthony Towns really held the team together over the entire game. Mike Conley hit a bunch of, I think you said 3 threes, if I recall correctly. He hit 3 threes. He was making plays. They have Naz Reid making plays late down the stretch.
Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, Dallas. Yep, Jaden McDaniels. Minnesota's a deep team. Anthony Edwards doesn't have to go off every night. He doesn't.
Nope.
Yeah, people say, well, Dallas dominated the paint against Oklahoma City. They'll do the same here. No, they won't. Good luck against Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, Karl Anthony Towns.
Like I said.
All that being said, we've given plenty of facts, I didn't believe in Minnesota last round. I'm not making that mistake this time. Anthony Edwards has dominated his playoffs. Yeah, he didn't perform well the other night, but he made shots and made plays when it mattered most in that game, Game 7. And he's proven to be a clutch player. I'm going to take Minnesota in 7. I think this goes down to the wire. Dallas is a real team. They have a very good chance to go all the way this year, Dallas does. They have PJ Washington. They're playing good basketball. But my gut just tells me Minnesota. Their roster is just deeper, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I agree. It's just that I feel like the Mavericks does not have the manpower to stop 2 tall men in the paint. One that can shoot threes now. One actually that can been shooting threes for a while. But I mean, I don't think there's no one that can stop them too. And with Anthony Edwards on top of it, and with the cherry on top with all of this, Jaden McDaniels. He's been lighting it up lately. And I said that before. He's been lighting up for a while.
Dallas might have gotten 14 offensive rebounds in 4 games in the playoffs as of recent, but they're not going to do that against Minnesota. They're not. They're a bowl league down low. Plus, you add Mike Conley, who's been rejuvenated. He's an older player, JB. He was part of those old school Grizzlies teams with Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, all them players. So he's an old school cat. He's been playing outstanding sort of veteran leadership. It all really rolls through him. He's the distributor. You got Ant Edwards. Minnesota's the real deal. They were built to beat Denver. They beat the defending champs and the MVP. And that's with Murray hitting shots. Murray was on it in Game 7. He hit multiple threes. He lit it up. So I'm impressed with what I see from Minnesota. They could very well win the entire thing. I'm taking the Timberwolves to the finals. Wow, that sounds weird.
I mean, they got the team to do it.
They do.
Anthony Edwards does it all. I mean, he can seen all the dribble moves. He has unlimited stuff in his bag that he can pull out, and he can get anywhere anywhere on the court and make a
Yes.
shot, make a dunk, shoot anywhere. So, I mean, he can do it all.
Oh yeah. I think, man, I'm just super impressed. I'm just super happy, and here's why. Small market. I am happy finally to see small market teams this season getting some love. Denver's a small market. They won the title last year. And now this season, of course, you got a bunch of small market teams in there, plus Boston. Truly. Can you imagine the NBA ratings, JB, if the Timberwolves and the Pacers make the finals? I think they'll plummet. And I'm rooting for that matchup. I really am. I want to see small markets go at it for the championship. I think it's good for the game.
Oh yeah,
The league is better. The league is better when all 30 teams are competitive, not just 4 or 5 big brands like Miami, Golden State, the Lakers. It can't Boston. It can't just be the same. It's not good basketball. It's not good for the league. I think the NBA is in as good a shape as it has been in a long time.
it has. To me, I think it has.
With small market, JB, here is the series you are eating crow in, my friend, because we are going to move on to the Indiana and Boston Celtics series. The Indiana Pacers obliterating the New York Knicks on a legendary shooting performance in Game 7, eliminating the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. JB, with that now, the Boston Celtics were patiently waiting, and they have their matchup because the Pacers will be playing the Celtics. And that series starts here actually in about 30 minutes, my friend, as of live recording right now. So with that, JB, who do you got? The Indiana Pacers versus the Boston Celtics. And in how many games?
See, I know we're going to talk about the Knicks and the Pacers series here in a little bit, but I'm probably going to pick the Pacers in 7. It's probably going to be a rough start for them because one, they just literally just got done playing Game 7 against the Knicks, and now they're starting to play Boston in half an hour. So they're tired. They are extremely tired facing against a energized Boston team. So I think the first game is going to be horrible looking. After Tyrese Halliburton's amazing performance for shooting, probably first time I've seen in a while in the Knicks series, where he's actually shot, great. But yeah, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be a manslaughter. It's going to be like, I mean, I would not be surprised if the Pacers would not score, not even 100 points. That's how I
Tonight.
think that's how tonight. I don't think that's how tired they're going to be.
That's fair.
So I mean, and then the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, if Kristaps can stay healthy, he's there. I don't think he's not going to be healthy. I don't even know if he's playing or not. Probably not.
His status for the series is uncertain, but he's been ruled out tonight in Game 1.
See, there we go. Injury prone. Should just get rid of him. Honestly, in my opinion. Anyways, but yeah, with even with them two, it's going they're gonna shoot lights out. I mean, their Pacers probably can't do anything to stop them. in game 1. So it's going to be a horrible game for the Indiana Pacers. But I think the Pacers are going to figure it out. And then they're going to come out on top.
Wow. JB with a Pacers Timberwolves finals. Wow. You just threw me off, my friend, because I've been high on Indiana all year, and it sounds like you're trying not to make the same mistake twice. You doubted Indiana once, and you don't want to do it again. Kind of
More
like
than
me in
once.
Minnesota. Right. And, I'm going to start this out by saying Tyrese Halliburton deserves that because he went out in Game 7, JB, and scored 26 points. I've said that if Indiana had any chance in this series, he had to be Batman, Pascal Siakam had to be Robin. And that's exactly what happened. Tyrese Halliburton played much better in Game 6 and in Game 7, and then Pascal had 20 points in Game 7 himself. So that's exactly what it was. You had Batman and Robin out there doing what they were supposed to do. Your I call them Alfreds, your role players. Kind of, because every Batman and Robin need an Alfred. Yeah, you got to
Yep.
have an Alfred sometimes, and their Alfreds did very well. The Pacers, I've been watching a bunch of mainstream media, Fox Sports. I don't watch ESPN anymore, but I listen to a little bit of the takes, and no one's talking about the Pacers. It's back to that small market again. And the other, watching that telecast, you could tell the ESPN wanted the Knicks to win. They weren't even trying to hide it on the broadcast. They were rooting for New York. Now, granted, Jalen Brunson did leave the game injured. And that's something I want to talk about too.
And quite a
Because,
few other people also left injured as well.
right. And I'm looking here, JB, people are saying that, the only reason the Pacers are here is because they beat an injured Bucks and Knicks team. And okay, yeah, the Bucks and Knicks were injured, but I'm not one for injury excuse. But what about Boston? My point. Boston beat Miami. Oh my God. You want to talk about injuries?
Mm-hmm.
Injured. They beat Miami. Cleveland. They've been injured as well. Their best player, Donovan Mitchell, who was torching Boston at times, didn't even play the last 2 games. Let's not act like Boston has beat the hardest competition either. Both of these teams have beaten injury-riddled teams. That's why they're here.
Yep.
Let's be honest. This is a weird series, JB, because Indiana just got done shooting, I have it right here, 67.1% in Game 7. That's a historic. That was a record, JB. That was a record. So the Pacers are shooting 67.1. Have Boston, who for whatever reason is 16-15 in their last 31 home playoff games. In Boston, you got 2 superstars, Porzingis, and a bunch of really good Alfreds, and a good coach. And you're 16-15 in the last 31, and you have home court. Not sure home court's such a good thing. On top of, the Pacers are the exact opposite. They're 2-5 on the road, but they haven't lost a game at home.
Mm-hmm.
In Indiana. So it's the exact opposite. And I think it's going to be a weird series. All the media I see, like I said, they're not even giving Indiana a chance. They're saying this is going to be a cakewalk. 4 or 5 games, everything I'm seeing. I'm going to pick Boston. I do think they're the best team. I mean, my God, they had 64 wins, most in the entire NBA this year. I mean, I'm going to go Boston. But I don't think it'll be in 4 and 5 games. I'm going 6 games. Indiana, I think, will win one of the first 2 games. Because, like I said, Boston's 16-15 in their last 31 home playoff game. That's just weird. So I think they'll lose a weird home game. And I think Indiana will win one of their home games, too. Because they've been so good at home. I think Boston is just too over. They have White. I mean, Porzingis has been ruled out. But Al Horford's been playing great basketball. I mean, Jason Tatum the other night in the closeout versus Cleveland, 25, 10, and 9. Yeah, Jaylen Brown out there, so they got they got way more talent. The 2-star powered. I think it's going to end up eventually overpowering the Pacers, and that's why they'll win. But Indiana's going to put up a fight. I think they have a chance. But give me Boston in 6.
Ooh. Okay.
And you know, I hate Boston. I hate Boston. I will be rooting for Indiana. As people know, we're from the Indiana area. That's where our hometown is. So, in my
It's annoying,
opinion,
but
out of the team, right? But my opinion, out of the teams that are left, Boston being our most archest rival, or the hometown Pacers, I'm gonna be rooting for the Pacers in my heart. But my mind, all the stats say I think Boston wins here. The Celtics have been in 6 of the last 8 Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, the Pacers shot 46.8% from the field and 31.8% from the three versus Boston this season in the regular season. The Pacers shot horrible this season against Boston. I don't expect them to shoot 67.1% in the Boston series. I don't see that happening. I think Halliburton, Indiana's only get a couple games though.
but I don't know if you know this, but during the playoffs, averaging against the Celtics and the Pacers, you know how many average points that they're putting out a game?
On offense,
Points and like points for the whole game. You know how much
I'm
they're
gonna say
averaging for a
Boston.
game?
Boston won 14, Indiana 110.
No. Boston 108 points a game.
Okay.
Pacers 114 points a game.
Ooh. I had the right number, wrong team. Okay. That's fair. Like I said, man, I think the Pacers have a chance, a puncher's chance. But if I was
Here's the thing for me. Tyrese Halliburton has to be on his A game every single game. You can't just rely on Pascal Siakam or anybody else on the team. He has to perform amazing. Like literally, he has to be lights out for this entire series. I want to see
I would
him
agree with that.
like how he played Game 7. I want to see that type of shooting from him. That's all I want to see. And then everyone does their own thing. So, with that being said, he has to come out and be
Would agree.
phenomenal every single game. If everyone thinks that he is an all-star, he has to put out all-star numbers. None of this only shooting 9 shots a game, 5 shots a game. No. You have to shoot, shoot, and shoot. Be the point guard that you are. I don't know if he's a point guard, shooting guard, whatever. He's a guard. He can shoot. We know he can shoot. Be an all-star. Put that team on your back.
And he did in Game 6 and 7. The
He
problem
did.
is
He did.
Right.
It's just if he did that all game, all whole series. Honestly, this series should have been done way long ago, my friend. It should have been done
Yes.
long time ago. But you know what? It didn't, because he's just, I don't know if he's scared or what. But if everyone's saying that he's an all-star, he needs to put out all-star material. That's why I'm writing him consistently. Not just, oh, I'm going to come out when the game matters. No, if you want to get it done and soon as possible, put out the numbers that you know, that you need. Don't wait until game 6 or 7. Do it every single game.
Oh yeah, you're correct, because if you do that against Boston, there won't be a Game 6 or a Game 7 because you won't make it that far.
Exactly.
You're exactly correct, and I would agree with that. Now he's still a young star. This is
exactly. But that's why I'm riding him so hard, because he has so much potential. And he only shows it once in a while. Honestly, look at all the All-Stars, past and the present. Michael Jordan played his heart out, put out amazing numbers almost every single game. Yes, there might be time where consistent. There might be sometimes he has a shooting slump. Everyone does it. Everyone has a shooting slump once in a while. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony. Just a a lot of players. And in the present, Jimmy Butler. Let's see. Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, Jokic, Murray, like anybody, like literally anybody. The players, there's some of the handful of players that I mentioned average 20 to 30 plus points a game. And like I said, yes, there are some shooting slumps, but hardly any shooting slumps. And Tyrese Halliburton has way too many shooting slumps. He needs to put out his all-star material.
And I like how you say that consistently, because he does. But in order to be an NBA champion, you got to do it consistently. That's the difference between good and great. You are absolutely correct. And I think he has it in him. I really do. This is their first Eastern Conference Finals appearance since 2014. It's been 10 years, an entire decade. And truly, Boston's been vulnerable in the playoffs in the past. They've shown that they'll lose to teams that are worse than them. Yep. To be honest. And this is another opportunity here. So I'm interested to see what happens. I don't think this is as much of a guaranteed Boston win as most people, but I'm still going to take Boston. With that, JB, this is the time me and you've been waiting for, because while we love talking basketball, we are passionate about basketball, it's just been a while on this podcast since me and JB have talked some football. So we're excited to kind of change some things up. JB, and you will move on to the schedule release, my friend, and we're going to start with our teams, as we should. JB covered it with a great short take. Go check it out on the NFL schedule release. Go check out his short take on that. With that, JB, we're going to get into real big detail here, because I'm going to start with your Steelers. Since you did the short take, I feel like that's your right. With that, JB, out of the Steelers schedule, how difficult do you think it is? And what do you think the record will be, my friend? What's your thoughts on your Steelers?
I think out of all the schedules, out of all teams, the Steelers has the worst schedule.
It's difficult.
It's the worst schedule. Out of all teams, this is the worst schedule. Because literally after the bye week and week 10, after week 10, all of our divisional teams, and then Philadelphia and Kansas City on Christmas Day. And is going to be shown on Netflix.
So fucking stupid. There's the one curse word I'm allowed per podcast, because that's fucking ridiculous.
But yeah,
it costs $850. This is my small rant for the day. $850 it's going to cost approximately. Sports Traffic, they go check it out, to watch all NFL games. Greedy bullshit. That's all I'll say. Go ahead, my friend.
But yeah, week 11, Baltimore. Week 12, Cleveland. Week 13, Cincinnati. Week 14, Browns. Week 15, Philadelphia. Week 16, Ravens. Week 17, Chiefs. Week 18 is to be announced. Cincinnati Bengals.
God dang.
And guess what? After week 16, we only get a 4 days of rest to face the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's after playing Baltimore.
That's after playing Baltimore. So you're telling me this is not an easy. This is not the worst schedule in NFL right now.
I mean, you got a case for it. I think. Yeah, it's. Dang, that's brutal.
So yeah. This is by far the hardest schedule in all of NFL. Everyone else can say otherwise. No. Our division is the hardest division in the NFL.
Yes, I would agree with that.
All 4 teams went into the playoffs. All 4 of us went into the playoffs.
Well, the Bengals didn't, but they had a winning record.
Well, still, winning record.
They were 9-8. Yeah.
But anyways, we were the only division that had
Yes.
all 4 teams with winning records.
That's insane. That's almost unheard of. That's insane.
There's
And that's
not,
with Joe Burrow being hurt.
yes, with Joe Burrow being hurt, and with the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson being hurt as well.
Deshaun Watson's not It'll be a different day for that conversation.
Yep. So, but anyways, the Steelers has the hardest schedule in the NFL. I'm going to keep saying it, but Mike Tomlin always has a plan every single game. It's just the players has to use the plan to succeed. And there is Ryan Clark, my good fellow friend. I love his podcast, the ones he does with Fred Taylor and Crowder. I love them. I love all 3 of them. They're funny, and I agree with them. Is Mike Tomlin has a plan for every single game, and it is a winning scheme every single game. It's just the players has to put the scheme into play and make it work. And he knows, and everybody knows that. But it's just the fact that, one, we had the worst play caller in NFL history, Matt Canada. I'm glad he's gone. Anyways, but
Canada.
Oh, Canada, you sucked so bad you were gone in the middle of the season. Anyways, but now we have a great offensive coordinator when he was with the Tennessee Titans that one year.
Yes. Arthur Smith was outstanding.
Arthur Smith was an outstanding, probably one of the best offensive coordinators by far. And we have probably one of the best QB rooms, which I think, honestly,
I mean, it's a good QB room. It's definitely a mile improvement from Pittsburgh's QB room last year. So I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
But to
I
me,
would say Atlanta probably.
If I think
Atlanta,
about it,
yeah.
if you go from your starters, your backups, and your third strings, who has a better QB room?
I mean, yeah, it's Pittsburgh, 100% from top to bottom. I mean, I could see that. I mean, you could argue Atlanta because they have Kirk Cousins now, Penix in the wing for later. So you could argue either, but I mean, yeah, Pittsburgh's got a good QB room.
So
sure.
And then we had an outstanding now I feel like we have an amazing offensive line now, finally. And our defense mildly improved. And now I do believe it is going to be a great year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Starting in week 1, it is going to be a revenge game for our new offensive coordinator,
Indeed.
and it's going to be a W.
I'll follow the list here with you because I was going to do my picks. We'll do them together. I agree with you. I have Atlanta winning. I'm not Atlanta. I have Pittsburgh winning that game as well.
And week 2, the Denver Broncos, the Russell Wilson revenge game. And Russell Wilson is going to come out and dominate. W.
Okay, I agree. I think yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a W.
In week 3, the Los Angeles Chargers.
The
W.
Charging. I'll never bet on. Yeah,
W.
I'll never bet on them again.
They don't have a receiver. They only have a quarterback. They don't have a running back. Their defense sucks. It's like they did nothing to improve anybody.
Well, I mean, they definitely have the right coach for the job. I think actually them letting go of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams was a good thing because they're both always injured anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't winning with Keenan Allen anyway, so it's obvious you got to change something. So I think they got rid of a lot of their injury-prone players. They drafted offensive line for Herbert. I think they'll be better than last year, but I don't think they're a threat. I think they're at 7-8
better. If you don't have receivers that can't catch, I mean, what's the ball? What's the point of moving the ball?
Yeah, they'll be physical. The Chargers are known for being soft. That's their problem. I think they'll be physical. They're not a playoff team this year. I think they win 7-8 games. They'll be competitive, but Pittsburgh is better. I agree. That's a win for Pittsburgh.
And that's at home. Anyways, week 4. The Indianapolis Colts.
Like you said in your short tape, be clapping them cheeks.
Yep, and we're going to clap them. W.
I agree with that. I'm high on Anthony Richardson. I think he's elite. I worry about his injury history, and if he gets hurt, Gardner Minshew's not there to save him anymore. So Indianapolis, I think this is a close game. I think this is one Pittsburgh could lose. I think this goes to overtime. The Colts were not a playoff team last year, but they were 9-8. They had a winning record themselves. They had a decent season themselves. I think this is an overtime game. Pittsburgh wins on a field goal. I think you're right. Mike Tomlin, I think he realizes they have to have a really good start of the season. He's going to prepare hard for that game.
Week 5. W. Against the Dallas Cowboys. Because honestly, Cowboys, I'm sorry, but you done nothing.
They got worse.
You guys gotten completely worse. Jerry Jones says, like, yeah, we're going to go hard this offseason. You didn't pick up one guy in the offseason. You picked up Ezekiel Elliott, and he's washed. Literally washed.
And lost Tony Pollard, your 1,000-yard back. And that's after getting humiliated in the wild card round by Green Bay. Yeah, I agree. I think, and this is at Pittsburgh, so it's not like this is in Dallas. I agree. That's a win.
Even if it was at Dallas, it's still going to be a win. Week 6, Las Vegas Raiders. W.
I agree. I mean, they're going with Aiden O'Connell as the starting quarterback going into camp. Antonio Pierce said, which is kind of bizarre to me. I mean, go boiler up. I hope he does well. I really do. But that's a head scratcher to me. They lost Josh Jacobs. Just saying. Yeah, I agree. And a win for Pittsburgh.
And this is where Week 7 against the New York Giants. I'm gonna say this one's an L.
Against the Jets, really?
Yep. There's always going to be that one team that will outshine.
Huh?
And if it's going to be a shitty team, it's going to be the Jets. Even though with Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy at Week 7, it is going to be an L. But if he's injured, it's going to be.
I mean, they got Tyrod. They got Tyrod Taylor, and that's miles better than Zach Wilson. So,
ooh, he's still an injury prone.
You're right. This is I'll get into the Jets here in a bit.
But like I'm saying, it's going to be a loss if Aaron Rodgers is playing. It's going to be a W if Aaron Rodgers is not playing. But I am going to say that Aaron Rodgers is playing, so it's going to be an L.
Yeah, I'm going Pittsburgh wins this game by at least 20 either way, Rodgers plays or not. Aaron Rodgers is coming off an Achilles injury. He didn't play all but 4 snaps last season, and he's in his 40s. Last time we saw Aaron Rodgers, he missed the playoffs with Christian Watson. Romeo Dobbs, the same roster Jordan Love won a playoff game with virtually. Missed the playoffs and had a slightly above average season. I think we would agree with that. Slightly above average, not good for his standards. So, on top of that, after an Achilles injury, and TJ Watt, and Cameron Hayward, and who's the guy you picked up? Patrick Queen. Okay. But that Jets offensive
Peyton
line, yeah, they
Wilson.
drafted a couple. Right, they drafted a couple guys. They brought a couple guys in. They addressed it, but okay, you're gonna put Aaron Rodgers out there against that? Okay, good luck. Good luck. Give me Pittsburgh all day long against the Jets.
I feel like that's gonna be the one team.
I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna. It's gonna be a very long day. He's gonna get hit a lot.
But Week 8, New York Giants
Win.
W. There's no
They're
question.
horrible. The dang.
There's no
Yeah,
question.
the Giants are a disaster. Win. And that's on ESPN. Oh, great.
Yep. And yeah, Week 9 is our bye week. Week 10 against the Commanders. W. Is
Yeah, I
honestly
agree
to
with
me,
you.
it's going to be a little bit tougher game because the Commanders did get some upgrades during this offseason. Some, not a lot, especially on their offense. So it's going to be a really tough game, but I think we'll come out on top.
This is a game I think Pittsburgh needs to win, and they will, because
Yep.
they're going to go against a rookie quarterback in Washington. Yeah, they have their offensive coordinator from the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator currently. They drafted Jaden Daniels. Daniels is a good talent, but like I said before the draft, I worry about his injuries and his ability to take hits. I'm going to take Pittsburgh here in a close game. I think Pittsburgh needs this win here, and I'll tell you why here shortly. I have Pittsburgh undefeated in Week 10.
And I got 'em one game loss in Week 10. Now,
Oh boy.
here comes Week 11 and on down. This is where it's going to be a struggle bus. Week 11, Baltimore Ravens. Loss.
I 100% agree. I have them undefeated. I think Baltimore is a better team than Pittsburgh is anyway. I hate to tell you that. I think Pittsburgh's a good team. I'll explain in a minute. You'll understand at the end. But this is going to be brutal. This is a rough stretch for Pittsburgh. Give me, Baltimore.
Cleveland, Week 12, W. After a rough start, or actually after a rough game against Cleveland, we have quite a bit. Actually, not that long of a stretch. It is a primetime game. It's on Thursday. Few days off but Cleveland is, no. Even with Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns sucked. I mean, we seen it last season when we faced him on both of the terms. He sucked. I mean, we seen it. They played horrible. But I feel like it's going to be a W.
Okay. And I have a loss here. I think it being in Cleveland, this is, like you said, the best division of football. Cleveland was a playoff team last year with washed-up Joe Flacco. And they had quarterback carousel. They started so many quarterbacks last year. We're still a playoff team. And Nick Chubb's back. This is in Cleveland. Pittsburgh, a short week, only 4 days off after playing Baltimore. Like I said, this is tough. It's a tough division. I think you're going to have every team has a slump at some point. I think this is the start of it. Give me Cleveland winning this game.
And in Week 13, Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like we're going to lose this game.
I agree. So long as Joe Burrow can stay healthy, That's a big question mark at times. But yeah, I think this is a loss also. I mean, this is in Cincinnati, hardest division. Cincinnati, so long as Burrow's healthy, is going to be a Super Bowl contender. Jamar Chase, god dang man, it's a loss. 3 in a row.
Yep. Cleveland Browns, I feel like we're going to lose this game.
See, me and you flipped. I think normally you guys split in your division. It's a hard division. I have you guys winning this game. I think it's because I think the short week against the first time you play Cleveland, that short week will get you. I think you guys win this one though. This is in Pittsburgh, so we're flipping the Cleveland games pretty much.
And then week 15, I feel like we're going to win against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think the Eagles is not the same team as they were last season. Even with the tush push and everything, even with adding Saquon Barkley, but I do believe that they really didn't add they didn't add a lot of people in the off season, except for Saquon Barkley, in my opinion. They really didn't hardly do anything in the draft, in my opinion as well. They had a pretty soft draft. But I feel like we're going to win this game. I think we are a better team on paper, as offense and defense, regardless. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh winning in Week 15 against the Eagles.
I actually have a loss here. Like I said, you got that win I have last week against Cleveland. I have a loss here. This is in Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia's going to have a better season this year. I expect them to be a playoff team and compete. I really do. I think their division's kind of gotten a little softer. The Giants are abysmal. The Commanders have a rookie quarterback, new coach, so we'll see how that goes. The Cowboys got worse in a lot of areas. I think Philadelphia is the best team in this division. I think they get the win here.
Well, the only reason why I say that Pittsburgh's going to win is because of last season. Jalen Hurts played horrible at the end of the regular season. So, and this is
He did.
closely to the end of the regular season, and I feel like he is going to choke on offense, and he's probably only going to try to do what he normally does best at the end of the season, and he's gonna suck. So, but yeah, that's why I choose the Pittsburgh.
That's fair.
And on week 16, I feel like we are going to win against the Baltimore Ravens in week 16, since we have to face Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson both twice. We had to worry about Lamar. Now we have to worry about him and Derrick Henry. I think if we know how to stop him, we've seen how he runs the first time. I think we'll figure out how to stop him the second time. So give me Steelers finally figuring out how to stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, because honestly, we know how to stop Lamar Jackson. I mean, yes, he's run quite a few times on us, but I mean, he hasn't really gone anywhere since we played him, ever since he plays us. So give me the Steelers.
You see, I have you. This is a sneak peek for the last game. I have you splitting with your entire division except for Baltimore. I think they're just. I think Baltimore's probably the second best team in the AFC. They are loaded. They are loaded. I think they sweep you guys. Unfortunately, I think this is a brutal end of the season for you guys. I think give me Baltimore.
And then week 17. Only 4 days to the next game. Christmas Day. And it's not going to be a good Christmas for me, because the Steelers are going to lose against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't think it's not even going to be close, honestly. I think Travis Kelce, I think they did this on purpose. The NFL did this on purpose. I seen a TikTok about this game. They're making jokes about it, but I do believe Travis Kelce is going to propose to Taylor Swift on Christmas Day, in front of a Christmas tree while there's snow on the ground. And it's in Pittsburgh, and we all know it's going to be cold and snowy. So he's going to propose Taylor Swift on Christmas Day on live television with the W.
Wow, JB thought about that hard because I didn't think of that. Now I have you guys getting slaughtered. That's 4 days. That's 4 days after losing to Baltimore. That's brutal. The NFL did that on purpose. There's no doubt about it. Yeah,
Yep. And
they did it for a reason. Now that's bold. That's bold. I ain't going that far, but they definitely there's something weird. They definitely didn't do Pittsburgh any favors.
Yep.
I have a loss.
And then week 18, it's to be announced, or to be dated. But I feel like we are going to lose. We're going to be 0-2 against Cincinnati Bengals. It's just the fact that after we lose against the Kansas, or to when we get slaughtered by the Kansas City Chiefs, and Travis Kelce's posing a Taylor Swift on our turf, it's just not going to look good. And then we just lose to the Bengals, and yeah.
I have the opposite effect. I think you guys get slaughtered by Kansas City. It pisses you guys off, and you win. I have you guys losing the first time to Cincinnati. I have you splitting against Cincy. This is in Pittsburgh. You guys have a rough end of the season. Yeah, it's horrible. I have you guys losing a lot of games to end the season, but I have you ending the season correctly. I have you winning this game. So I have you guys at 11 wins and 6 losses. Yeah.
Yep.
I have you guys at 11 wins, 6 losses. I think you guys will be a playoff team, but 8 of your last 9 games after the bye week are against teams with winning records from last season, JB. You guys played 10 teams with winning records from last year. Brutal. 11 wins. What do you have? I had 11. You were pretty close. I didn't keep track of yours, but you were pretty
Honestly,
close.
I really didn't keep track of mine either.
You had it with a winning record.
I said I lost
so.
against the Jets. So yeah, we went 1-1 against Baltimore and Cleveland. We went 0-2 against the Cincinnati. 1-1 against the Browns. So we won against Philadelphia and a loss against Kansas City.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I still have Pittsburgh. I think they end the season losing. I have you guys losing 3. I have you guys going 3-9 essentially in your guys the last 12 games for you guys. The NFL did no favors for you guys, but
Nope.
sorry, 3. Yeah, I have you guys going 3-6 to end the last 9. So it's gonna be a rough end for you guys, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough.
I think you guys
of the season, but we could.
But I think you guys start. I think you guys have a soft schedule to start, soft as heck. So I think that makes up for it. I think you guys will really take advantage of the early season. You guys have to. 'Cause if you guys start 2-3, it's over. It's over. If you guys start out losing 2 or 3 games, sorry. You guys gotta start strong. Because I got you guys going 3-6 to end. It's hard. Speaking of hard, JB, one could argue the Packers have a difficult schedule as well because while Pittsburgh plays 10 teams, JB, with winning records from last year, Green Bay plays 11. Only 2 games at Lambeau in December, January. Come on, man. That's my
football.
take.
That's cold.
Should
be cold.
That's cold football. Only 2 games at Lambeau in December, January. I think the NFL did that on purpose too. The NFL, I think, is anti-cold weather. They like teams with domes a little better. I think the NFL sometimes gets a little too flashy sometimes and has gone Hollywood on us at times. So I think the NFL, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they only gave us 2 games in December, January for a reason, and it makes me upset. Now, with that, I am happy to announce the Green Bay Packers get to play the Dolphins on Thanksgiving. So this is the first time in the modern era, since the Super Bowl era, JB, Green Bay's got a home Thanksgiving Day game. Green Bay is football heaven. We are America's team, in my opinion. Most championships, 13 all time. We're one of the founding teams of the NFL. legendary team. The fact that this is the first time in the modern era that we have had a Thanksgiving Day game in Green Bay is absurd. So it's a long time coming. I'm happy to say that Green Bay now has a Thanksgiving Day game against Miami. So I am happy to say that. But it's still going to be a rough start for Green Bay because the end of our podcast, last podcast, the NFL schedule dropped. We didn't talk about it. You did the short take. And Green Bay opens the season at Philadelphia. The Philadelphia home game. That's about it. Because we play in freaking Brazil on a Friday, JB, to start the freaking season. We gotta freaking start playing. I'm doing 2 curse words. We gotta go to fucking Brazil to open the season on a Friday. On Peacock television, only playing on Peacock.
Peacock.
Tickets as low as $1,159. Yeah, go screw yourselves.
Don't forget about the flight
Here's
tickets.
teams. Well, that's fair. I'm not a fan of. I understand the NFL's it's a good business. You want to expand American football out to the world. It's not popular out in the world. It's really not. It's starting to a little bit, but out beyond America, it's a secondary sport. It's not very popular. Not like here. So
No.
I understand the want to expand. I truly do. I understand it. So I don't like. I don't know. I think we're gonna lose that game, JB. I think we lose that game. It's weird. It's a Brazil game. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I think Philadelphia is gonna be better than people think they will be. I think they win their division. We'll get into that at a later date. But I think Green Bay loses that game. The Brazil game's not a fan. Not a fan. It's only the second time Green Bay. It's only the second time we went international, and the last time we lost to freaking Daniel Jones and the Giants in London with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So only our second international game ever, and it's against the playoff team from last year. So I think we lose to start the season. We normally do, it seems like, unfortunately. Except last year, but that was ownership week.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to lose this game as well. I think you guys are just not meant to do international games. I don't know what it is, but I think you guys are just not fit for the international areas. I think it's the long flights. I think it's the long flights, the different time zones. It's a different thing. For a small town place.
And there's talk, and the NFL, the Green Bay Packers complained about it. There was an article I read on a Packers site that I follow that Green Bay is a unique place because the Green Bay airport is massively smaller than all other NFL teams have access to. We have a smaller airport than all the other teams do. So there's actually talk that Green Bay actually might have to, I don't know if it's true or not, might have to drive to Milwaukee and fly out of the Milwaukee airport to get to their location because of how small Green Bay's airport is. I think that puts us at a disadvantage.
Yep. And I agree.
Week 2, home opener against the Indianapolis Colts. I have a win here, JB. Anthony Richardson, I'm a fan, but injury-ridden. It's our home opener. Jordan Love is him. I have big aspirations for the Green Bay Packers this season. Our schedule, unlike Pittsburgh's, in my opinion, it's kind of a mixed bag. We have some easy moments, and then we got some brutal times, I think. But Pittsburgh's all in one stretch. Yours is just cake, and then god dang, that's brutal. Ours is just kind of sprinkled in there. I think our home opener we win against Indianapolis, bouncing back from that weird Brazil game.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, it's at Lambeau Field. It's probably one of the most loudest, not one of the loudest because it's so small, but it's really. I feel like it's one of the most difficult fields to play on.
Yes.
Because it's so historic and not a lot of upgrades, not like everybody else has. So
No.
So give me the Packers winning.
Absolutely. Because win, lose, or draw, the Packers are good, the Packers are mid, the Packers are bad. The fans are going to show the Lambeau to support them.
Yep.
And you're absolutely they're gonna they rock Lambeau every Sunday. They're gonna continue to do so for forever because that's just it's tradition. I've been to Green Bay. It's football's different in Green Bay. Anyone who's ever been understands it truly is different. With that, JB, week 3, we travel to Tennessee. I think this is a win. I'm not a big fan of Will Levis. They grabbed Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard's good, but they downgraded. They downgraded from Derrick Henry. I think Green Bay gets the win. I'm not a fan of Will Levis.
Yeah, and I agree as well. I think the Packers are going to win this one, and it's not going to be no competition at all.
Week 4, this is a Sunday game as well. This is Minnesota at Green Bay. I think we normally split against Minnesota. They play us well. The purple incarnation of freaking Satan. But they have Sam Darnold now. Justin Jefferson's been holding out. Aaron Jones went to Minnesota. This is a revenge game for him. Oh, so sad. But I think we win this game. I'm not a fan of Sam Darnold, and I'm definitely not a fan of J.J. McCarthy. I think we win a very close game here. But I think we'll split against Minnesota and eventually lose in Minnesota. So give me Green Bay here at Lambeau.
I think you're going to lose the first game with Minnesota.
Fair.
Because I think that you guys won't know how to play with Aaron Jones. I mean, you guys know how Aaron Jones runs.
Right.
But with the JJ McCarthy and the Justin Jefferson duo, I don't think you guys won't know how to stop that. I think it's going to be really difficult for you guys to stop him for actually them three together. So I think it's the first game against Minnesota is going to be a lose.
I think it's a win only because I'm happy we played Minnesota the first 4 weeks because Jair Alexander will probably be healthy still. Now, when we play him again in week 17, that could be a very different story. So I'm confident enough that he'll make it through the first 4 weeks at least and be able
Hopefully.
to guard He'll be able to guard Jefferson. So I'm banking on that. I'm also banking on the fact that Sam Darnold will still be starting because at some point I think they're going to throw McCarthy out there. But I want maybe by early enough week 4, Darnold might still be out there. I think Green Bay gets it. Now, week 5, the day before my birthday, is going to be a bad day because we traveled to LA and played the Rams. I think this is a loss. I worry Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur come from the same coaching tree. They know each other very well. I was concerned by we definitely address safety, but we have good corners, but they're injury prone corners. I worry about us being able to guard Puka, Cooper Cup, at Stafford, Williams at running back, and they drafted Michigan's running back as well. I worry about our ability to stop LA's offense in Los Angeles. So I think we lose that game.
And I agree as well. I mean, even with losing Aaron Donald retiring, I think it's still going to be yeah. I think it's going to be an offense shootout.
Yeah.
But I think the Los Angeles Rams are going to come out on top.
Absolutely agree. Arizona Cardinals at home at Lambeau. I have us getting the win here. I think we're much better than and better roster shape than Arizona. Yeah, Arizona got a little better. Murray's healthy. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., but they still have a lot of holes on that roster, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
They're still very well rebuilding. I think Green Bay wins.
I agree. It's no competition at all. Green Bay's going to win this one.
Here's the hard part, where things start. I talk about that difficult. Houston at Green Bay. I think we lose that game, JB. It's not like it's going to be a cold day in October. It's not. It might be chilly at best. I think we're going to lose that game. We're going to hit a rough stretch here.
I agree as well. I mean, Houston is way too good of a team, especially with D'Amico Ryan still the head coach. C.J. Stroud playing a phenomenal game last season. I think he's still going to pursue being probably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league already. And especially with Tank Dell being healthy again, it's going to be it's going to be a rough time for the Green Bay Packers.
And Stephon Diggs. It's gonna be a rough day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I have us the next Sunday after that at Jacksonville. I think we get the W there. Jacksonville disappointed last year. Trevor Lawrence disappointed. I bet on them really hard last year. I was really high on them, even to the last week of the season, and they failed me. They're an underperformer. I think Green Bay gets the win.
I agree. I mean, because Jacksonville really didn't add anybody this offseason. I think they had a pretty good draft, but it's just I don't think they didn't do that good of a job during this offseason so far. I'm going to give it to the Green Bay Packers.
And then the next Sunday after that, right before our bye week, we have Detroit at Green Bay. I actually have us winning this game. I think we end up splitting with Detroit. I'll explain my reasoning here shortly. I think before the bye week, we get a very close win. This is the win I think we get versus Detroit.
I feel like you're going to lose this game. I feel like when you guys always play Detroit Lions, the first time you guys play the Lions, you guys always lose.
Did last year, yeah.
I mean, you did last year, and it was no shock. It was literally a manslaughter. So I feel like you guys always lose the first time you guys play. So I'm gonna say a loss for you guys.
I agree. Then the bye week, and then coming out of the bye week, this is where I think things get a little harder. Not this week though, because this is ownership week. This is at Chicago. This is a win. Jordan Love is daddy now officially. He swept the Bears his first season. Who won a playoff game. So happy. That's an automatic win. Caleb Williams.
And
the Bears. Whatever the weird shit he's doing already. Nah, yeah. He's gonna be a rough day.
yeah, and I don't think Caleb Williams is not going to be that quarterback, especially where everyone's saying that they upgraded their line. They have some great weapons for him. I'm like, no, not really. I mean, I feel like they barely upgraded their offensive line. They probably added one great weapon for him to have. Other than that, no, they didn't even upgrade. I feel like they barely even upgraded their defense. That was probably their main issue. It's not just their offense. It's their defense is also a struggle bus. So, no question, Packers are winning.
This is where I think we hit our slump. San Francisco. I'm so tired of playing San Francisco. Not only am I tired of playing San Francisco, I'm tired of losing to San Francisco. But at least this game's in Green Bay. I'm not sure that's any better because I have us losing this game. Because they're just better than we are. They beat us every single time, and they have with Alex Smith. They did with Colin Kaepernick. They did with Jimmy Garoppolo in the playoffs. They did with Brock Purdy. It doesn't matter. They always beat us.
And I agree as well. I mean, it's
frustrating as a Packers fan.
It is very frustrating. I mean, I would do the same way if, a team that we always face and we always lose to them no matter what we do. But I mean, we don't ever do that. But
it's the one
I could see your frustration with the 49ers, and it's still going to be a struggle. So I feel like the 49ers are going to win this game, and the Packers lose Week 12.
And the NFL did this on purpose because they have us playing freaking San Francisco on Sunday at 4:00, and then they have us turn around, hey, play on Thanksgiving against the Dolphins, who will probably win their division too. Because I think we lose against Miami too. Turn around 4 days later after playing our arch nemesis who we can't beat, and the NFL knows that. Here, Green Bay, play a Thanksgiving Day. 4 days after playing the defending NFC champions. And I think that's going to be rough for us. I think we lose to Miami.
I agree. Actually, no. You guys are not going to lose to Miami. You guys are going to win against Miami.
We beat them 2 years ago. We beat them 2 years ago.
Because we all know how the Lambeau in Green Bay, Wisconsin, it is in November. It is cold. Miami hates cold weathered games.
Fair.
They don't know how to, apparently they don't know how to play football in cold weather.
Or softer, yeah.
So
hopefully it snows in late November in Green Bay. Hopefully it's not one of those like 40-degree days.
So I'm picking Green Bay to win this game.
It's been the first Thanksgiving Green Bay game at Lambeau in Thanksgiving in the Super Bowl era. So maybe the football gods will be on our side. But every team, like I said, has a slump. This is ours. I think we lose against Detroit. Because then we have to play a Thursday night game again. We don't even get a long week after playing freaking San Francisco and Miami. We have to turn around 7 days later and play another freaking Thursday night game against Detroit, at Detroit. I think that's a loss. I think every team has a struggle. This is ours.
Dang, 2 prime games back to back. I mean,
Yeah,
at least you guys get a week.
Fair.
I mean, like, same thing for you. I mean, you guys played Sunday, and then I facing 49ers, and then the Dolphins. I mean, it's almost like the Steelers, but I feel like
Virtually, yeah.
I feel like it's worse for us because we face Kansas City on Christmas with only 3-4 days apart.
Oh, good. You guys got screwed on Christmas, and we got screwed on Thanksgiving. Outstanding.
Yep.
Enjoy anything. But yeah, I think
in
we
week
lose to
14, I think in week 14, you guys are going to win against the Detroit Lions.
But we flipped the Detroit games. Okay. Then, at Seattle, I think we bounce back. I have us losing 3 in a row. It's a tough stretch for us after the Chicago game. I think we win against Seattle. I'm not Geno Smith. He's a decent quarterback, but I think Jordan Love is much better. This is in Seattle. Green Bay's gonna be pissed off from losing 3 in a row. I think we bounce back.
I think Packers are going to win in Seattle. I don't think the Seattle's really during this off season they didn't really add much anyways. I think there's a lot of teams that really didn't do much. To me, I think they should do a lot more, and the Seattle Seahawks is one of them. Because I think, yeah, I mean DK Metcalf he shouldn't be the only one that actually getting targets.
Right.
So yeah, give me the Packers.
And on Monday, 2 days before Christmas, we play the Saints in Green Bay. I have us winning this game. The Saints played in the worst division in football last year and did not win the division. Yeah, they were 9-8. They're one of the 10. They're one of the 11 winning teams from last year. Green Bay has to play, but they were 9-8. Very disappointing. Alvin Kamara is not the player he used to be. Derek Carr is a above average quarterback, but that's what he is. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sell myself on a Saints team I bet on last year, and they disappointed. Green Bay beat the Saints last year, and that was in October before it was cold. And good luck, Dome team. Good luck playing in Green Bay. That's the one of the 2 games we get at Lambeau in December, January, and a Dome team comes to town. Give me Green Bay.
I agree as well. I mean, it's going to be way too cold for the Saints. I mean, in Kamara, he's actually starting in week 1. He didn't start at the middle of the season where he did last year with all the stuff that he did prior with all the laws that he broke and stuff.
Absolutely. And then, JB, this is one of our last 2 games of the season. We have to go to Minnesota on Sunday. I have us losing this game at Minnesota. Like I said, I think we win the Green Bay game. Minnesota always plays us tough. I think we're on a split against Minnesota. I think we end up losing this game ultimately.
And I think you guys are going to win this game. I mean, it's still 1-1, but I mean, you guys kind of figured out how to beat or how to match up against with the three quarterbacks, or not the three quarterbacks, Justin Jefferson, JJ McCarthy, because I'm pretty sure he's probably going to start
By that point, I
by
think
that
so. Yeah.
point. I mean, I think he's going to. I think Sam Darnold is going to be the starter for your guys or for the first game. I think it's in what, in week 4, do you believe?
That's correct. Week 4, and
So yeah,
that's why I have Green Bay winning that Week 4 game. I don't think Darnold's the guy. I
well,
think
I
Darnold's
think it's
is.
going to come out. I think he's going to come out and he's going to suck, and the coach would be like, "Yep, pull him out. Let's put JJ McCarthy in." And I think that's when he's going to light you guys up and finish the game. It's going to be a W4 for the Vikings.
Yeah, okay.
So you guys are going to win Week 17 against the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. I like JB's going with like deep predictions. JB's predicted that Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift on Christmas, and now you're doing that. My goodness, my JB, you must have had some deep thoughts this week, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then week to end of the season.
Putting those notes in my head.
That's right, that's right. I'm not an in my head guy. I have to type them out myself. So with that, JB, to end of the season, it's Daddy Week again, ownership week. We play
To end it off,
as Caleb Williams likes to say, the Bears. You see that? You see how he said that? The Bears. He play. Hey, he might paint his nails for this game. It'll be the first time. With that, JB, end the season in Green Bay, one of the 2 games that we get. Like I said, December, January, and I'll give the NFL this. It's only fitting that the season ends on a cold January day at Lambeau against Chicago. It's only fitting. Same as last year, and I think we get the win. JB,
it's
been
it's
so
no
long.
question.
It's the ownership week. We're gonna beat the Bears forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Give me the pack. Ownership week.
Yep, give me the Packers as well. I mean, there's no question about it. The Bears they're going to suck for a long time. They still haven't figured out their quarterbacks yet. So yeah, it's going to be a rough time, and it's just going to be a repeating season for the Bears. They're going to suck. So give me the Packers.
All the Bears fans out there, I truly don't want to hear anything about my Bears predictions until the Bears have a 4,000-yard passer. The Bears are the only team in NFL history to never have a 4,000-yard passing quarterback. So until y'all have that, don't come talk to me. It ain't 85 anymore. With that, JB, that ends the Packers Steelers predictions. I have the Packers at 10 wins, 7 losses. I have these Steelers getting 11 wins, 6 losses. So I have the Packers and Steelers in the playoffs, both of them coming up this season. I don't know what you had Green Bay at. I wasn't paying attention, but it seemed pretty similar to my number.
I think it was pretty similar. I think we've went back and forth on some games, but
right. So with that, JB, do you have any other thoughts on the NFL schedule, my friend, from any other teams?
Nope, actually not really. I mean, Steelers has the hardest schedule. I feel like the Steelers has the hardest schedule in the league. I mean, there's no question about it. We face all of our division rivals at the end of the week, plus adding Philadelphia and Kansas City. I mean, it's no brainer, guys. Come on. If you guys think your schedule's hard, come in our division and play our division. There's no other division like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. There's no other division like it.
I would agree with that. I'm trying to think of one and I can't.
There's
We have
none.
other good divisions, but
really,
there's not like
I
that.
mean, what other good division is there?
Not like Pittsburgh's. I mean, there's other good divisions. You have the AFC East with Miami and Buffalo, probably. I mean, Green Bay has a decent division, but
those are 2.
Pittsburgh's division.
We have all 4 teams that can go a winning seasons year after year after year after year. Even with the Big Ben era, it's always been a very tough division every single year.
Right.
All three teams played us so hard every single year.
Yeah. You're right. I think it's absolutely the hardest division. Other takes I do want to say around the league, I'll give some synopsises. NFL was absolutely or nothing. I said that I want to incorporate more of my Facebook takes on our podcast, and I'm doing so. I said on Facebook that the Jets having 6 primetime games is absolutely absurd. The NFL's learned nothing. Aaron Rodgers, who I love Aaron Rodgers, he is my favorite player of all time. One of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. He's given me many memories as a Packers fan, but the dude's in his 40s coming off of an Achilles injury. JB, the NFL gave how many primetime games to the Jets last year, and how many games do we have to watch Zach Wilson suck? Because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. The NFL is literally banking on Aaron Rodgers not getting hurt again. And 6 primetime games, really.
Yeah, it's
Other notes, the Panthers didn't get a single primetime game, which is the only team in the league. That's funny to me because I hate David Tepper. David Tepper is the owner of the Panthers. He goes into restaurants and harasses the employees because of a Panthers joke sign. There was an article he did that. It's been proven on camera footage. He's thrown beverages on fans. Until he sells the team, I've said on this podcast before, I hope the Panthers suck forever. I hate rich billionaires who feel entitled. So the Panthers getting no primetime games makes me happy. Dallas got 6. Kansas City gets 5. So did Buffalo, but I question if Buffalo's a playoff team. Buffalo lost Stephon Diggs, safety Jordan Poyer, Trayvon White, center Mitch Morse, wide receiver Gabe Davis, linebacker Tyrell Dodson, linebacker Leonard Floyd.
Do you
They'll
count
start the season by
Saturdays
playing.
as primetime games?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So
But
then the Steelers has 6
Buffalo
primetime
starts.
games.
Right.
Yeah.
Buffalo starts playing the season playing Miami, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Houston their first 5 games. And then they eventually play San Francisco and Kansas City later. I'll get into I'm not want to say it yet, but I worry about Buffalo, my friend. 5 primetime games seems like a bit. Kansas City only has 5, but the Jets got 6. I don't understand that. Just saying. That's
No
my
idea.
notes from around the league.
Yeah, it's difficult.
With that, JB, that's all we have for today's Unbiased Hard Take. Before I get into anything else, there will be no podcast next week. Me and the family are going on vacation. So that is an announcement. So there'll be no podcast next week. I will be doing Facebook news, maybe do a short take. They'll replace some of the coverage, but so I'll be in there. So pay attention. No podcast next week. Vacation. We do that once a year. So we no podcast next week. JB, what do you got for the people, my friend?
Just the usual. Like, comment, subscribe, like us on Facebook. Get our algorithm going. Comment on the video. Comment, watch it, like it. That's pretty much all I have. It's going to be a rough season for the Steelers, but we're going to come out on top like usual. And like every single year, Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in NFL. And that's all I got.
You know, we sit here and we make all these predictions. We think all these teams will be good, and watch some of these teams we think they'll be good. They won't be. I mean, Houston was not supposed. They were supposed to be an abysmal team last year, and they ended up winning a playoff game. So in the NFL, there's always going to be surprises. There's always going to be teams that are better than we thought, and teams that are going to be worse than we thought. So anything can happen. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. Green Bay got a Turkey Day game this year, first time in modern era history. Thanksgiving Day, it's only fitting. That's all I have. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Until then, as always, go Pack, go. Let's go Heat and Bowler up, baby. Woohoo! NBA Finals coming up.
I'm gonna end it off. We finally got a schedule. We know what's coming. Buy your tickets. We actually got dates. So let's go Steelers. Let's go Heat and boiler up. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
See y'all in 2 weeks.